This is take 2. Are you ready? Ready, ready, ready. Good morning, everyone. My name is Audrey. I am stitchywitch42 here on flosstube and over on Instagram, and this is my channel about cross-stitch, life, the universe, and everything. Today is Monday, the 19th of August. And if you've followed me for any period of time, you know that I was kidnapped last weekend. That's the story I'm telling. I was kidnapped. It was voluntary. And it was a blast. So, if you watch Stitching with the Sisterlies, and you should be, the sisters are Colleen and Cheryl. Cheryl lives here in Oregon, and her sister Colleen lives up in Washington. And she was going to go up and visit her for a few days. And she got the idea to invite Anna, Stitch Roadies, and myself to go along with her up there. So, I said I was being kidnapped. The reason I said that is because Anna, Colleen, and Cheryl are all quilters, and I was in fear that they would make me make a quilt. I'm not a quilter. I can sew, but I don't like it. I was working on my project for the Stitch Summit, and I got it done, but I'm telling you, the last couple ones, it was just like, I don't like sewing. I don't like sewing. So that's why I said I was being kidnapped. It wasn't really a kidnapping, but it was an adventure. Because what should have been maybe a 3.5-hour trip, going up there took closer to 6-7 hours. We only stopped at a couple of places. We did stop and have lunch at the McMenamins in Tacoma. In Oregon and Washington, there is a chain of brew pub restaurant hotels that are owned by the McMenamin brothers, and I've been a fan of their establishments for years. They had a passport program. They still have a passport program that if you buy, and it looks like a passport, if you go to their locations, they put stamps in there. And when you fill a page of stamps, you win prizes, and when you fill the whole thing, you win prizes. And before, well, they had a page in there for one that had not opened yet, so I didn't have to get that stamp to complete my passport, and it was the one in Tacoma at the Elks Lodge. We're headed up to Colleen's house. We're all getting kind of hungry, and we were in Tacoma, and I said, well, there's a McMenamins here. So we went. If you live in Oregon or Washington, if you visit Oregon or Washington, and you get a chance to go to a McMenamins, you really should. Their decorations are so eclectic and fun and interesting. And as much as I was a fan of McMenamins, Anna's daughter-in-law is the daughter of one of the artists for McMenamins. So, you know, we have that connection. But we were up at the Tacoma McMenamins, and she wanted to go take a picture of a painting that she thought might be Lyle's. And of course, when she did that, this woman stopped her and said, I think I know you. One of Anna's fans. Yeah. So Cheryl and I sat there and giggled while Anna was over talking to some random person about whatever it was that they talked about. It was, you know, it was what it was. I got a stamp from there, And then we got back in the car and we continued on to Cheryl's house. It was so much fun this weekend. Not once did they say anything about making me quilt. Thank you. I was really, really happy with that. I did go to a couple of quilt shops with them. I even made a purchase at a quilt shop. But I can't find it. Oh, here it is. On our way home, we stopped at Carriage Country Quilts, which, okay, don't trust GPS. Cheryl programmed this into it, and we ended up in some random neighborhood. And then she reprogrammed it, and it actually took us to the shop, which was close to where we were at, but don't trust your GPS. That's how people get lost. Anyway, it is in this older house, and little rooms and cubbies and full of stuff. There's quilting stuff in there, there's wool stuff in there, there was everything in there. And I found a pattern. It's a wool pattern. This is Bareroots Little Halloween Pillows. Do you see the bat? Yeah. So I purchased this, and it's not a kit, so I actually had to purchase the wools separately. So, let me see. There you go. I'm going to use those 5 different colors for this project. This will actually be the background. This will be the body of the bat, the wings of the bat, the moon, and the branches. And I'm going to use it as one of my hashtag 24 bats in 2024. But while we were up at Colleen's, we stopped there on our way home. While we were at Colleen's, she lives in Snohomish, Washington, and there is a beautiful downtown area that has a street with all the old storefronts on it. And there's antique shops, and there's home decor shops, and there's restaurants. And one of my concerns, I knew that Cheryl wanted to go walking around there. One of my concerns is that I wouldn't be able to keep up with them. And I asked Cheryl and Anna this because Anna hikes and Cheryl works out in her yard all the time, and they're way more fit than I am, and I've got the issues with my legs and my feet. And Cheryl goes, "Oh, don't worry, Colleen will be with us and you can sit with her and hold all of our packages." Okay, there you go. And it worked just fine. We went there twice. We went there, okay, we left on Wednesday. So, oh, that was the other thing. They forgot that we were leaving on Wednesday. I had to remind them. In a text, I asked a question about it, and Cheryl goes, "Are we leaving tomorrow?" Yeah. And then she's texting to Anna, Anna, we're leaving tomorrow. When I left my house to go to Cheryl's, Anna said, she goes, "Oh, I guess I better get up and get dressed." She hadn't even showered yet. Some kidnappers, right? Anyway, we were in Snohomish. We're in the downtown area. We went and we had lunch, and we went walking down to go look in some of the antique shops, and that was fine. Colleen needed to take a break, so she found a place to sit outside. I went in and did some shopping, and then I decided my leg wanted a break too, so I went out and there was a bench out there. And we sat there and talked and chatted while Cheryl and Anna were in the shop. Now I know that I've said I'm shy and I have problems talking to people. But sometimes the opportunity happens. And I'm sitting there on this bench, and behind it is a 4-tier wire basket that these two women are looking at, thinking about purchasing. And Stormy says, because they were undecided as to whether they were going to get it or not, Stormy says, why don't you take a picture of it and then take a picture of the front of the building so that when you walk away and you go, I really wanted that basket, where was it? You'll have it. So Cheryl and I, Colleen and I, started talking with these two ladies. And of course about that time, Cheryl and Anna come out of the shop and made some comment about me being ill-behaved. And of course we were all laughing about that. And I turned around and I looked to the ladies. And I said, do you know what hall sex is? And they answered the same way that most people do. They said, no. And I said, hall sex is when you pass your partner in the hall and you say, you. Yeah, but I am shy. After that, we headed back to Colleen's house, and you know, it was so relaxing there. That morning, we had stayed in our jammies for hours, and Cheryl made breakfast for us, and coffee for us, and we stitched, and we chatted, and everybody played on their phone, and we watched videos on YouTube, and then we went shopping, and then we came back and we took a break. And then we went out to dinner, and then we came back and we chatted and we talked. And Anna, when you get invited to Anna's house and she's in her own space, she bounces from thing to thing to thing in her own room. She'll sit and stitch for a little bit, and then she gets up and she moves and goes and looks for something, and then she'll come back and sit down, and then she'll get up and she'll move and go do something else, and then she sits and then she bounces and she sits and she bounces. And Cheryl, when you're at her place, she has a table next to her sewing machine, so she's usually not sitting at the table with you, but she's sitting at the sewing machine working. At Colleen's house, Anna stitched and stitched and stitched. And Cheryl had brought stitching up, and I think she worked on it one morning, and then she just spent the rest of the time relaxing, which was really nice. I worked on my Alphonse Mucha a little bit. I'll show you, I'll insert a video clip of where it's at. So this is where I am at with my Alphonse Mucha. I am at the very bottom here. And if you see this, this is the original bottom of the fabric. I think there's maybe 7 rows of Ada there. But I had to leave something for Molly to work with when it comes time for framing it, so I added on the extra Ada behind it. I think it's 1 row above the black line here is where I start stitching through the 2 layers, and it's not bad. It's a little bit slower. The funny thing is that it's easier to stitch the top ones than it is the bottom ones. Doesn't make any sense to me, but I am working on it. That white border comes down here, and I'm working on it down here, and I'm starting to work on it over there. So I'm getting close. I am getting so close. it will be done by the end of this year. I started working on one of my bat projects for hashtag 24bats in 2024. Sometimes I was reading my Harry Potter fan fiction on my cell phone. I may have read the same page 42 times, but you know, it doesn't matter. And then the next day we got up and Cheryl, Anna, and I went into Snohomish to go see some of the other shops. And then we went back and picked up Colleen and we went out to lunch, and we were driving around and looking at beautiful scenery and laughing. And Cheryl started singing. And Anna chimed in. It was a made-up song. There's no copyright. It was a made-up song. It was a horrible made-up song. Colleen and I are in the back seat laughing so hard I could barely breathe. I finally grabbed my cell phone and turned it on to record. And then I surprised myself that when I got home and yesterday I was playing with my computer, I was actually able to make a video out of it. And all I did was record the back seat of Anna's, the car seat, the seat in the car. I'll include that at the end. You might want to pause before you watch that, because once again, when my videos start, it might be a good thing if you take a potty break and don't eat or drink, because things happen. All sex. Watch the video at the end. I think it's well worth it. But the little bat project that I was working on, it's a freebie from Durene Jones, and I'm only doing part of the pattern. I think, let me see if it says it on here what year this is. Oh, 2020. It was part of the pattern called Trick or Treat, and it is the first one, and because it's a free chart, I know I can show this to you. This is what I'm stitching because there's a bat right there. I had gone upstairs, looked through my stash, and I had found a piece of Haunted, and I started stitching this, and I actually got quite a bit accomplished on that this weekend. I think when I got up to Colleen's house, I only had this stitched halfway down. I didn't have his staff. I didn't have the lower section of his staff, but I had this and part of the outline up here. So the bottom, all of the outline here, and filling in of the face and the bat, that's all been done this weekend. So I was really, really tickled to get that much done on it because I want to get started on that wool project. I may have to go up and bug Anna and have her show me again how to do it, but I can do that. So while we were at Colleen's, I want to call them Big C and Little C because, you know, Cheryl and Colleen and Cheryl, it's just... Why do people do that with their children? Name everybody with a name that is the same first letter? My daughter did it with my granddaughters. I think my family was normal, although I did grow up being Patty, Audrey, Erica, but only when I was in trouble, because my dad was too lazy to figure out which one of us girls he was yelling at. Anyway, they're making, what's the term? What's the word? They had coffee cups made, and they made some bags. This is the one that I got from Cheryl. It has her rust ribbons, quilts, and more. This is a nice size canvas bag too. So I will definitely be able to get lots of stuff in that. At her house, she has an area attached to the house, which is where she has her sewing area, and it has a room up above it that she might turn into an actual stitching place. And then they have a big barn, and she's going to turn the top of the barn into a place where she can have sewing classes and maybe stitch-ins and stitch meetups and things like that. So getting this, I was really excited about it. I can't wait to see how that comes along because I love going up there. And the nice thing is, they have a golf cart they use for, well, when Colleen was living with them, they had a golf cart that they used to take from the parking lot up to the back of the house so that she wouldn't have to go up and down the stairs. And she said she'd drive me in it. I like that. She loves me. So I have to insert some photos of my Alphonse Mucha. I have the video to insert about the horribly bad singing in the car. And if you don't understand all the words in the song, it's okay because I was there and I didn't understand all the words in the song. But it was hilarious. The whole weekend was laughing, stitching, eating, being snarky, watching videos, stitching, laughing to the point where you couldn't breathe. It was an absolute blast. I want to say thank you to Colleen for allowing us to come invade your house. I want to say thank you to Cheryl for inviting us. It was so much fun. So I want to talk about my paper crafts because here recently I have been watching more journaling videos than I have been watching flosstube videos. And I love how you'll find somebody new, and this is for any type of video you watch, and all of a sudden you have to watch everything. Or almost everything. There's a woman, her channel is Words and Pictures. Had a tickle in my throat. Words and Pictures, and she sounds British, but she lives in Czechoslovakia, I think. Chesnia? I don't know. She does things. I have been mesmerized by her here recently. And she was showing how she was doing stuff with stencils and masks and things like that. And I have some of them, and I've used them a couple of times, but she showed me a whole new way to use them. And I got done watching hers, and I had to go upstairs and make this. And I just absolutely love this. Well, she has these videos that she refers to as a few minutes of fun. And she's been showing how she's making various tags and using the crackle pastes and the inks and everything. And so I went upstairs and I had to make this one. And then, of course, you know, there's others that she does, and she adds butterflies or things like that. And there's a lot of people that add butterflies to their pieces, and I absolutely love it. So I came up with this one. And it just goes on and on and on, and I have been watching hers. And I had to do that one. So I made one of the accordion journals And I know I've shared this before. I think I even did a video on how they're made. I might even still have a couple of these for sale on my D-Stash page, stitchywitch42 D-Stash on Instagram. But I thought what I would do with this one is just fill it with these various tags and using a color palette that I like. And I'm having so much fun with this. And then the other day I was up there and created this little one. And I don't know if you can see the half of a dragonfly in there or not. It's just been a blast working with this. Will I actually journal in it? I don't know. But if I can fill it full of all these various things, I'm just having fun with it. And this is a nice size that if I was going to journal in it, I could stick this in a purse if I had a purse. I don't. I don't use those anymore. I carry a wallet. But I've been having fun playing with that and just enjoying my retirement. I got home from the drive home from Colleen's house. We had all gotten notifications on our phones that severe storm warnings. And sure enough, as we got closer to Portland, we started seeing lightning. I love storms. I love storms so much. I love the rumble of the thunder. I love the bright flash of light. I remember as a child, I was 11, I got to go with my mom and my younger sister to visit her family in Germany. And we were staying with my Aunt Gertrude. My mom, my younger sister, and I were all sleeping in the bedroom. My aunt was sleeping in the living room. And one night there was a horrendous storm going on out there. And the next thing I know, she was in bed with us because she didn't like them. I've always loved storms. When we dropped Anna off, we'd had a little bit of rain, a couple of drops here and there of rain on the trip back. When I got to Cheryl's house, it was windy and it was starting to rain. And as I left her house and drove home, it started raining and there was flashes of lightning all around me as I was driving. I know I'm weird, but it's me. And I got home and I got to spend the evening with my husband and my son. And then yesterday morning they left on their trip. And my house is going to be cleaned for 9 whole days. There's not going to be any man stuff in the living room for 9 whole days. It's the little pleasures in life, people. It really is. I washed the dishes and I put everything away, and since then everything I've washed by hand, so I have no dirty dishes in the dishwasher, but all my dishes are clean. And there's no man stuff piled up in the living room or on the kitchen table. They've been sending me pictures of where they're at on their trip, and Mark had bought a Garmin InReach so that I could keep track of where they're at. And because they would be in areas where there will be no cell phone accessibility. So, yeah. It's kind of nice having the house to myself. I do miss my husband. I know as the days go on I will miss him more. But I'm so glad that he and Philip are getting the chance to do this trip together and have some male bonding time. Okay, the last thing I want to share with you is that I received some happy mail. But I have to pause my camera because it's about to run out, and I'll be right back. Did you notice that I was gone? It was a couple of minutes. I had been contacted by Amy. Amy is a floss tuber. She has, is it Harpy Stitch? I'll make sure I link it down, the correct name down below. She had asked me for my address. She wanted to send something to me because she found something she thought I might like. And this box showed up. And I have to show you this box because, you know, it's a big box. But what I saw when I went out to pick it up, was this side. And it looks like a suitcase or a trunk. And here's the front of it. And it's got the Hogwarts emblem on it. It was a box from the Black Needle Society. I took all the labels off and I have to clean up some of the sticky that's on here, but I'm keeping this box because the box would have been plenty. But I got I just got ideas. Paper crafting, yeah. There you go. She had been to Joann's, I think it was, and she saw a bag and she thought of me. And the funny thing is that Margaret did the same thing. So I now have 2 of these. Big Witch Energy. It's gorgeous. And it's perfect for me. And one cannot have enough bags. I'll make use of it. I make use of the one Margaret got me. But then she also sent me a card. And in the card, she stitched a witch. That is so, so nice. She also sent me some stuff that I will be able to use for my hashtag 24bats in 2024. Some bat stickers. And then she also sent me some charms I can use for my paper crafting. So I love that. She included some bat fabric. She included a couple of skeins of my favorite DMC number, 796. This is my blue. This is my blue. And she also included the pattern from the little card that she stitched. Since she's already stitched it for me, I don't need to stitch it, and I really hope that she doesn't mind. But I would like to offer this one up as a giveaway. It's a small piece. It is 88 by 81, so it's not very, very big at all. Say which. Please be a subscriber. Please don't say the words that attract the trolls. Please be over 18 so that you can legally give me your address and I can mail it to you. And because it's a simple piece of paper, I'll send it anywhere. But thank you, Amy, for thinking of me. I love all of it. I love the box. And I'm not even a cat, but I want to play in the box. I have ideas. I do. I have ideas. Okay. The only other piece that I have been working on these last couple of weeks, and while I took this with me up to Cheryl's house, Colleen's house, one of their houses, I don't know, is my Stitchy Witchy bell pull. I'm working some more on the words down here. I think I got the buttons put in since I showed it last time, and that is where I am at with that. So I think that's everything that I have to share with you this time. I had an absolute blast this weekend with these ladies. I love them dearly. There was so much laughing. My abs still hurt. It was just so nice. And I've heard someone else say it, I had my soul filled. I am so blessed to know these ladies. I am so blessed to have met the people that I have because of doing my flosstube videos. The comments that I get from people. Thank you all. Thank you all for coming to my little corner of the world and for whatever reason being amused by me, taking the time to visit with me. Please take a look and see if you are subscribed or not. I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe if you're not currently subscribed. Like the videos, do all those things. Until we meet again, my friends, live long and stitch on. Bye-bye.
Colleen was just like her sister. The youngest one was sweet.
Yeah. And Colleen went to bed at 7.
I'm recording you.
I don't have my plan on.
She didn't get up till 10
Cheryl's
o'clock. Cheryl made her oatmeal all day long. She said, I don't